Welcome back. Today's film is a horror movie. The film starts with Igor, a young boy. He sees his dead mother calling him. He talks with her, she gives him a gift. Then he sees a bright light rushing towards him and wakes up. Julia, his stepmother, tells him he should not read horror book before he sleeps. His father asks him to put a small camera because they will have a nanny for his sister Varya. He is ready to go school and checks on his sister. Julia gets electrified while using the blender. We cut to a girl named Asha. She gets harassed by some rascals. One of them takes her phone. She hits him in the leg. The phone drops near Igor. He gives it to her. So the boy attacks him. We see Julia playing with her daughter Varya. She makes a small sock for her using crochet needles. After school, Igor tries to talk with Dasha. She tells him she could handle the boys. Her mother sees them and calls her by her name Dania, orders her to go inside the house. Igor returns to his house. He sees his sister sitting alone in the chair. The nanny appears. She is creepy. Julia tells Igor he should not put his sister in the chair. He denies. Then Julia talks with the nanny as she is holding Varya. Igor spies on the nanny while she is cleaning. Suddenly she appears and tells him children should know their place. Then his father enters. He is affected by the nanny beauty. Igor does not like the nanny, but his father tells him he cares about him and his family. And the nanny is here so Julia can rest. Igor is angry, hits the ball hard, it bounces above the fence. An odd-looking man catches the ball, and he throws it back. While he is sleeping, Igor's phone gives alarm sound. Igor opens the phone, the alarm from the camera inside his sister's room. He sees someone is inside the room in the phone. So he goes to her room, checks inside but he cannot see anyone inside. He uses the camera, and sees someone is sitting in the chair. He hears some noise near his sister. He sees a strange monster hand near her. Then the monster appears in front of him. He screams and runs to his room and locks the door. The monster has a strange leg which looks like a spike. It penetrates the wooden floor. The door room opens. Igor throws the basketball as hard as he could to defend himself. Unfortunately, the ball hits Julia's nose. He tells his father to check the camera. They see nothing. His father tells him he must let go of these bad thoughts or he will punish him. Igor finds the hole made by the monster, so he knows he was not dreaming. We see Anton, leader of the rascals, working in a supermarket. He gets scolded by his aunt. Anton steals money from her, and leaves with his friends. Dasha and Igor talk. Suddenly the rascals group appears and are chasing after them both. They enter the forest. Anton gets tangled in a strange red rope. He gets rescued by the odd-looking man. Igor and Dasha find an old house. The odd-looking man tells Anton not to enter the forest again. Igor sees a big furnace and thinks he hears something. We cut to Julia, in the baby's room. She is sleepy and takes a short nap. When she wakes up, she finds the room filled with red robes. The baby's cradle is surrounded by the robes. At the same time, Igor's phone gives him a live feed from the kitchen. His sister is there surrounded by robes. He returns home with Dasha but finds his sister in the cradle. One of the rascals returns to the old house. His eyes turn white. Igor returns to his sister's room. He finds a broken doll in her place. He enters the kitchen. The vacuum cleaner starts working. He unplugs it, then hears steps behind him. He takes a piece of the vacuum cleaner as a weapon, and tries to hit the invisible enemy. The monster stops him, and he is tossed across the room. We see the baby taken to the big furnace by the monster. Igor wakes up, thinks it was a dream, but when he goes to his sister's room, He finds it empty. She disappears from the family photo. He asks his father and Julia about his sister, but they do not know what is he talking about. They have forgotten her. He tries to make them remember by showing them her pacifier, but it vanishes. Igor's father is angry. He punishes him and locks him inside his room. Igor calls Dasha, asks her to meet him in the playground. Before she leaves, Dasha's mother stops her and asks her to return to the piano lesson. Igor's father looks in the mirror. He sees the nanny. When he looks again, he is talking with Julia. Dasha is taking the piano lesson. We see that the nanny is her piano tutor. Dasha tries to keep up with the rhythm, but it becomes very fast. She cannot do it. When she goes to talk with her mother, she finds the monster is there. Before she can run, Dasha is taken. When Igor goes to meet Dasha, he calls her but she doesn't respond and pushes him. He finds her eyes is wide and she keeps screaming until he says her other name, Danya. They meet Anton. He wants Igor to enter the odd-looking man house. Anton threatens to hurt Dasha, so Igor enters. Igor checks under the bed, finds nothing but before he leaves a small hand touch him. They find out the man has pictures of them all. The man returns to his house. Igor and Dasha find he has a picture of the nanny and piano tutor woman. They hide. The man grabs a knife, goes where Dasha is hiding. He catches her. Anton tries to help but he pushes him. Dasha uses the electric taser to knock him out. When he wakes up, he is tied. They ask him about the picture. He tells them she is his late wife. He tells them his story. A few years ago he wakes up feeling he lost something. He remembers he had a daughter and she disappeared. There is something that is taking the children and their parents forget about them. So he is taking picture of children so he can learn how many disappeared. Dasha asks Eva, her AI friend, and learns this creature is the Baba Yaga, a witch who uses half-human half-bird creatures to get her the children. Igor decides to go to the old house in the forest to look inside the furnace. The old man senses something inside his house. He unties himself quickly. He sees the creature's shadow on the wall, nothing visible. So he tries to touch the shadow, but the shadow stops him, throws him to the ground then pins him to the wall. He cuts the electricity, falls to the ground. The children go inside the furnace. They get sucked inside but to their surprise they return to the same place. We see Igor's father. He is with the nanny. She tells him you must stop Igor. The children argue and everyone goes home. On his way home he finds strange dolls fixed to the trees. Dasha returns to her house, calls her mother but have no connection. Igor returns home, checks his sister's room, and finds her cradle is there. He sees Julia, tries to talk to her, but she passes right through him. Igor calls her name. She felt it for a second. Then we see his father using the drill to make holes in the wall. Dasha talks with Eva. Eva is malfunctioning. There is a picture of Eva on the wall. The picture starts to move. Dasha sees the picture empty. Suddenly the robotic Eva in the picture attacks Dasha and she screams. Igor hears her screams. Eva pushes Dasha. When Igor enters her house, he sees Dasha trapped in the wall like a picture. He grabs her phone but Eva attacks him. He manages to break the phone. Doing so, Dasha is free from the picture. Anton alone in the supermarket, he hears sounds then gets attacked by the code his aunt left last time. Igor with Dasha returns to the old man house. He thinks his sister is there. There is a girl under the bed, then he hears his sister cry. We cut to Anton. He is trapped under a lot of cables. We find out the girl they see is the old man's daughter. Igor and Dasha's eyes begin to turn white like the little girl, meaning they soon will be forgotten. They hear sounds of the Navs. They are the half-human half-bird creatures. They hide under the bed, the cloak protects them. But little Varya starts to cry. The creature approaches them, but the little girl sacrifices herself to be captured by it to save them. Anton watches his friend gets devoured by the witch. Igor, Varya and Dasha use the cloak to go in the forest undetected. But Igor sees his late mother, goes towards her leaving the cloak. Anton is saved by the little girl. You can escape while the witch is eating. Igor, after running after his mother, he falls and finds Varya is not with him. Dasha makes him wake from this bad dream. His sister is still with him. They all return to the room with the furnace.
Anton tries but cannot pass, so Igor goes instead. The portal is open. The little girl's father wakes up. He does not remember her, so she disappears. Igor returns home. He finds out he himself is forgotten. His room is empty, and he is not in the family photo anymore. He checks to find he is holding a broken doll.
Igor, crying, talks with a depressed Julia. He tries to remind her of her daughter Varya. Seeing the socks she made, she starts to remember. When Igor tries to leave, he finds his father holding the drill. He enters a room and locks the door, but his father penetrates the door, opens the lock and enters the room searching for Igor. Igor tries to escape, but his father catches him, trying to use the drill to kill him. Julia uses her crochet needles. She manages to free Igor from his father, telling him to go save his sister. The children gather as they are all forgotten by their parents. They decide to burn the witch. They go to the old man's house, make him remember his little daughter. They gather some weapons and fill tanks with petrol. They go to the furnace, but the Navs attack them, so the old man stays and they go. The Navs is his dead wife. She hits him with her spike-like leg. When Igor and his friends reach the witch's room, he sees his dead mother holding his sister. She makes their special handshake. Igor finds the present is a knife. She wants him to kill his sister, so she can get out. When he refuses, he finds she is holding a doll. The witch turns to her original shape. She binds him and his friends, begins to kill him. The old man makes the Navs remember they had a daughter. The witch nearly kills Igor, saying no one will remember him. Anton throws a torch beside Igor, teases the witch to kill them first, as they will never forget Igor. As the witch goes to kill them, Igor lights the torch and burns the witch. As she burns, the Navs also is affected, and they all are free from the ropes. After the witch is dead, Igor finds his sister. They all get out. Igor burns the old house. Everyone returns to his family. Before the old man leaves, they take a selfie together. Suddenly Igor sees a surprise. That is all, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.